This is Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 2, text 7. Karpanya dosho pachata svabhava prichami tvam dharma samudhachetaha yashreyasyan nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and the soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. I will read first the part of the purport, the first paragraph. By nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every step there is perplexity, and therefore it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. All Vedic literatures advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master to get free from the perplexities of life, which happens without our desire. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Similarly, the world situation is such that perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusion. No one wants fire, and yet it takes place, and we become perplexed. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of the solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. One should not therefore remain in material perplexities but should approach a spiritual master. This is the purport of this verse, and this is not the end of this purport, which is very long. There is more. 2 more paragraphs. One is double the second one. The third one is double the second one. And we might or might not read the rest of the purport because it's very long. This is more like a seminar, not so much a classic Bhagavad Gita class. We will see. So you said I have 5 or 6 classes.
Yeah, I'll have to look on the calendar.
I will stay for about 2 weeks, and maybe we can cover 6 classes. And what I have been teaching a seminar called Gita for Your Success, based on 6 themes or 6 topics. And this is what I would like to cover in these 5 or 6 classes. And so I will tell you what are these 6 themes, and then I will give a little introduction. How I have been studying Bhagavad Gita for the past probably 18 years. 18. The 6 topics which are directly related to verses from the Gita. The first one is ask excellent questions. We know how inquiry is important in our tradition, in the Vedic tradition. Adhato Brahma Jigyasa and Pariprashnena Sevaya, that it's important that the disciple inquires from his spiritual master or from his mentors. So then the next one is use positive language, and we have a verse in the 17th chapter of the Gita which is teaching us how to communicate with others, but also how to communicate with ourselves. If it will be possible, not this Saturday, but the next Saturday, we will have a seminar specifically on that verse in relation to self-talk. That means in relation to the inner dialogue, or how we talk to ourselves or how we think. It has to be like this.
Yeah. It's a short one. It's more for
Okay.
sitting, actually.
Yes. So we will see. This will be more practical. We will have more practical things there. And in these classes will be more like a seminar, not so much interaction and not so many exercises, but more like a delivering the knowledge. The third one is expand your intelligence. And the referent verse is Tesham Satata Yuktanam Pajatam Priti Purvakam Tadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yenamam Upayantite. Krishna says he gives intelligence to one who is dedicated. So we will speak how we can actually expand our intelligence, which we want to use in Krishna's service. The fourth one is grow giver's heart. And the referent verse is 5:7, where Krishna says that one who is in Krishna consciousness is dear to everyone and everyone is dear to him. So this will all be very practical, how we can use these verses in our lives. The fifth one is become a trusted guide. And this brings us to 321, Yadyada charati shreshtas tata devetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastara nuvartate, which means
We are not pundits. Not yet.
whatever great man does, other people follow. So it's about being exemplary leader. And the last one is make a wonderful contribution. The last principle I was teaching, which is from the Bhagavad Gita, make a wonderful contribution. This brings us to the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which says, the verses 68 and 69, that describe who is most dear to Krishna. And Krishna says, the most dear to me is one who preaches to devotees. But Srila Prabhupada has explained this verse to mean one who preaches to everyone. But it's so important to preach to devotees, to support devotees, to care for devotees, that Krishna says one who preaches to devotees is most dear to me. So you have an opportunity to preach to devotees also, because there is so many devotees. I mean, you are living with devotees. Or you have an opportunity to be preached to by devotees also. Now, how to preach is completely another question. I feel a little bit uncomfortable turning my back so much to the devotees. Can we? Yes, yeah.
I was pushing it too far.
Yes.
So,
And push this side a little bit, so like a little bit like this. This you can turn off. I don't need it. Okay. Yes, that's better, yeah. Studying Bhagavad Gita from the point of view of success for about 18 years, and when you approach the Gita from a certain point of view, you can discover things that you have not discovered by just reading the Bhagavad Gita. And, you have different realizations when you read, you have different thoughts or understandings when you read. It's a little bit too loud, no? It's not too loud?
It's too loud, I need
we're speaking very loud and soft.
I need
We have some.
She says it's too loud.
It's too loud for this? Okay, I will make it soft.
Okay, so I'll keep it back. I have been, when I have been teaching outside or having some talks outside, it's good now, yeah. Then I was telling people that this book is actually a success manual. Bhagavad Gita is a success manual. It has so many, and then I will teach them also these 6 principles, but not as I will be teaching you and devotees, because people outside, they need a little bit different kind of presentation. But the essence was the same, and of course I was referring to Bhagavad Gita, and I was encouraging them to read the Bhagavad Gita. But for people it's not easy to read the Bhagavad Gita first. It's better to read introductory books first, like Science of Self-Realization, or even some smaller books. If you just take Science of Self-Realization, I have been in Krishna consciousness for 35 years, and when I look at Science of Self-Realization, it has amazing things that I have not idea about. Amazing things even about the higher levels of Krishna consciousness. It's an amazing book. Devotees compile it from Srila Prabhupada's teachings, but in a very nice way. They have sequenced. So it's better to encourage people to first read small books, but it's also very good for us to read small books, because we can do bridge preaching by learning from Srila Prabhupada how he did bridges for people to the Gita. So I was so happy when I saw that I read Science of Self-Realization. This book brought me practically to Krishna consciousness, and I saw that he's quoting the Gita all the time, and I became so interested in the Gita. But when I tried to read the Gita, I couldn't understand very much. So I go back to Science of Self-Realization, and then in the BTG, Back to Godhead magazine, there is Srila Prabhupada lectures which are even more simple. He is explaining things in a simple way, and also quoting the Gita. So for me it's easier to read the lectures and small books, and then slowly get to the point to understand most of the Gita. And even today I cannot say that I have understood everything and realized everything, but it's a process. So we can think that I have this book on my shelf or in my bag, and I don't know this book. I don't know what's inside. How many jewels are inside? There are so many verses that can help you, and you are not using them. Because maybe you don't have this approach that let me read with the idea to apply it to my everyday problems, everyday challenges. To relationships, to my sadhana, to choosing my path or discovering my dharma, to anything that is an important question in your life. Once a lion wanted to check what the jungle animals think about him, and he went first to the monkey, and he said, "Monkey, who's the king of the jungle?" When monkey was scared, he said, "Oh, you are, sir, you are the king of the jungle." And the lion said, "That's right, and you'll never forget it." Then he went to the snake, and he said, "Snake, who is the king of the jungle?" And she said, "You are, sir, you are the king of the jungle." In her hissing sound, he said, "That's right, and you never forget it." Then he came to a lion who was just having lunch. And his lunch is huge and slow. So he came in front of the elephant and said, "Elephant, who is the king of the jungle?" An elephant was just chewing. He was just ignore him. "Elephant, who is the king of the jungle?" Elephant looked at him and continued chewing. Now lion became a little angry, started roaring a little bit. "Elephant, who is the king of the jungle?" So elephant grabbed him with his trunk and smashed him off the tree. And you know, in cartoons, when you smash somebody, they have stars around them. He was like, "What happened?" And the lion said, Okay, you don't have to get angry because you don't know the right answer." So what is the lesson in this story? You tell me. What you get from this story?
The king should be very clever.
Huh?
The king should be very clever. Very clever.
The king should be very clever.
Yeah, because lion he has found at last so what to say. Yeah.
He has found what?
What to say?
Okay. Yes. More.
Maybe it's like we are the light, we want to be praised, we are the one, for example, great people, they want to be praised, that they are the one who are...
Great people want to be praised.
Yes, I mean...
Okay. Any other reflections? Yeah.
To understand his position, my own position.
So-
to understand.
So what is his position?
Yeah, actually the elephant is more stronger than the lion, but the lion anyway thinks he is the king.
There is always somebody stronger than us, and there is always somebody who knows more than us. So now we are coming to this verse. To me, the beginning of Bhagavad Gita is not 2:13, Dehinosmini atalehe, you are not this body. To me, the beginning of Bhagavad Gita is this verse, 2:7, which the beginning of success is when you admit that you need help. So for many people it's difficult to admit that they need help. They are too proud. Or they don't trust anyone. They don't know whom to ask for help. But there is always someone stronger. There is always someone more experienced. There is always someone more knowledgeable. One boy approached a wise man and asked him, "How can I attain wisdom?" And he said, "By making a lot of mistakes." So we have heard about School of Hard Knocks. How many of you are studying in this school or maybe graduated? Who has a PhD? So I will tell you how you can know if you have a PhD in the School of Hard Knocks. If you are repeating the same mistakes again and again. How many of you can raise your hand to this? So there is three kinds of people. One group, which is almost non-existent on this planet, learns by hearing. Second group learns by making mistakes and not repeating them. And third group, which unfortunately most of us would identify with, is people who make same mistakes again and again and again. So when you come to a point to admit that you need help, you are in a very powerful position to start your success journey. And maybe you have already started on this path, maybe you are just about to start this path, or maybe you are afraid even to think about this. Wherever you are, the opportunity is here. So Arjuna, he's such a powerful person. We will never be like Arjuna. He is admitting that he needs help. he became confused because of us, so we can hear the Bhagavad Gita. And he says, now I don't know what to do. Please help me. Please help me. So now here, the spiritual master is mentioned, but apart from a Diksha Guru, there is many spiritual masters, many Shiksha Gurus whose help we need. We need their support, we need their guidance, sometimes on a daily basis. And we, in ISKCON, we want to create this system of devotee care or mentoring system where people will have trusted guides. Trusted guides. So although here in this verse is mentioned about the spiritual master, but between the spiritual master and the disciple, there is a gap. And oftentimes, I have seen it in 35 years, this gap is not filled. Devotees remain confused, they don't get enough time, they don't get enough guidance. Spiritual master doesn't have time to respond to every letter, he has thousands of disciples. He doesn't have time for darshan sometimes for you. Maybe you have this experience. You wanted personal instruction. So what we recommend is that you get guidance locally to develop a relationship with someone you can trust, and this can be agreement between you and this person, because you cannot wait for a perfect mentor to accept a mentor. You can accept someone who is maybe likely to become your good guide, and then you work together to make this relationship useful for you, and, helpful for you. And you ask your guru for major decisions, but for everything else, then you can discuss with your mentor, someone you trust, and in this way, you are not neglected. You are not neglected. So Arjuna is saying that I need help. I don't know what to do. And I have one file where I have compiled all the questions that Arjuna has asked in the Bhagavad Gita. So tonight I want to start with this first topic, ask excellent questions. And on Wednesday we can speak about using positive language, also based on the verse from the Gita. So, what are the excellent questions? What do you think? Yeah?
Who am I?
Okay. This you already know.
How to develop good character.
How to develop good character. This is $1 million question. You can also ask, how can I develop Krishna Prema? But this is a little bit later. Down to earth. Yeah. So we had a wonderful conversation in the car while we were coming here. And in our association together while I'm here, we want to be very, very practical about life, about our advancement. And while Prabhupada was saying certain things about devotee care and experiencing Krishna's love, he said wonderful things. I really wanted to record it, but I will force him to repeat it so I can record it. I want to save it and maybe transcribe it. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to interrupt you. But I remember what I wanted to say to what you are saying. He was saying, how can we experience Krishna's love if it's not through devotee care? So this is beautiful. I mean, I have never heard this from anyone. I have heard so many seminars and classes about devotee care and read so many journals and books. It's a beautiful thought. And it reminded me of the verse from the Bhagavatam. I can find find it for you. I can find the exact number. I don't know it by heart. It's maybe 4th or 6th canto. It says the self-effulgent Vaikuntha planets cannot be attained by those who are not compassionate. So this is it. Those who are compassionate. We have another example. How much Vishnu was satisfied with Prachetas? Because they did service together. He came, he descended on Garuda and said, you can ask me for any benediction, any. Because I'm so pleased with your friendly relationship, Vishnu said. Then Prahlad Maharaj is offering prayer. May peace permeate the whole universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. And let everyone engaged, may everyone be engaged in devotional service, because by engaging in devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. So we have our movement, which is just amazing. It's just unbelievable what we do. How many books we distribute, how many festivals we have, how many plates of prasadam we distribute, how many meetings we have, how many books we publish, how many classes and seminars we have, how many kirtans and concerts we have. I just came from Bangladesh, amazing programs. And imagine if we would start thinking of each other's welfare, how much irresistible ISKCON will be. When people see how we care for each other, they would say, I want to come here and stay forever. Because if I join them, they will treat me in the same way. So somehow, in a rush, first 50 years to spread the mission, we forgot about human side. We forgot about caring for devotees, and many left. They felt neglected. And you may say, oh, they left because they were not sincere. Okay, but what is said, I think Prabhupada said, at least 50%, the reason why they left is your responsibility, the way you treated them and like this. And if you want to learn how to be personal with people, read Srila Prabhupada's letters. How he talks to one person when he writes so personally. He always acknowledges receipt of the letter, dated such and such date. And when they don't write the date, he writes, I got your undated letter. And so much encouragement, so much personal care is expressed in his letters. And I will give you an ebook called Care Personified. It's a compilation of stories and anecdotes about Srila Prabhupada's care in 9 areas of life, I think. 9 areas of life. So I think Vijay Venugopal Prabhu compiled it. He's like a veteran of... What's that?
For the ebook.
Oh, USB. Well, better you get a hard drive, and I give you many of my files about devotee care, about anything. I mean, not anything, but whatever I have. I have a devotional library and professional library, so you can copy so much. But to start with, we can start with this ebook about devotee care, Care Personified. How much Srila Prabhupada cared for devotees' health. I mean, he would remember that somebody has scars, and he would ask them, did you deal with this? And amazing. So apart from sharing Srila Prabhupada's knowledge, we need to share Srila Prabhupada's mood, Srila Prabhupada's attitude and Srila Prabhupada's caring, love and care for devotees. So, why questions are important? First of all, inquiry is important, that we start to inquire about the purpose of life, to inquire about the absolute truth, Adhata Brahma Jigyasa, to inquire, like Arjuna is inquiring, very personal question. He is asking, please tell me what is best for me in this verse. What is best for me? So have you asked anyone or asked yourself recently what is best for you? It's a good question to ask, even on a daily basis. You may ask yourself, what is best for me today? So we can learn from the scriptures different excellent questions, and we can learn also some common sense excellent questions, like, what do I want and what I'm going to do about it? We can do that too. And become more clear about what we want and how we want to proceed. So I asked you what is an excellent question, and you gave me one example. Can you give me more examples of questions that you consider to be excellent? Or the questions that maybe helped you, that you were asking yourself? Yes?
Maybe what is the Dharma? What is my Dharma, and how can I bring that Dharma into Krishna consciousness?
Excellent. This is an excellent question. What is my Dharma, and how can I use it in Krishna consciousness? So you have Varna Dharma and Ashrama Dharma, if you want to be more specific. Varna Dharma is occupation, activity that you can do, or service that you can do. And Ashrama Dharma relates to ashrama, if you're a brahmachari, kastavana, prastava, sannyasi. And we want to help devotees to situate properly, because if they are situated properly in their varna and ashrama, they will be very strong to fight Maya, as Srila Prabhupada explains in the story of Gajendra. He explains this very much, in the importance of proper situation, properly being properly situated. So, another type of excellent questions that Arjuna is asking is, he's clarifying his doubts. He says, Krishna, you say this, but you also say this. How can I understand this? It's contradictory. So this is also very important, to ask questions to clarify doubts, to ask spiritual master or senior devotees, or look in Shastra, do a research. Any other excellent question that comes to mind?
I always ask when I realize I have made a mistake. Then I ask myself, how can I prevent it?
Excellent question. How can I prevent next time making the same mistake?
Exactly.
Yes, this is an excellent question. So why are questions important? Because our thinking is consisted mainly of questions and answers. Maybe some of you ask yourself, shall I go to the class tonight or not? And somehow it's my luck that you have concluded that you will come. But whenever we have to make a decision, we ask ourselves a question. Whenever we have to make a decision about our next step, we actually consciously or unconsciously ask ourselves a question. So in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.5, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 5, Srila Prabhupada in the purport speaks about the importance of questions, and Sutta Goswami is thanking the sages of Naisharanya for asking him 6 excellent questions. The whole Bhagavatam is based on these 6 questions. And Srila Prabhupada in the whole purport explains the importance of questions. And I'm trying to do a research, like extensive research in everything that the Prabhupada said about questions, inquiry, and things like this related to questions and inquiry. I mean, in Vanipedia, you know about Vanipedia, the online encyclopedia of Srila Prabhupada's teachings? There is a category that means a selection of quotes about ask questions that Srila Prabhupada asked and questions that others asked Srila Prabhupada also. So this we also can study, all these kinds of questions and how Srila Prabhupada answers them. Why are questions important? Why is important to ask excellent questions? Because if we ask ourselves excellent questions, we will get better answers or excellent answers within our own mind, by our own intelligence. Or if we ask others also, we can... for example, a disciple can approach a guru and ask, Guru Maharaj, how are universes coming out of the pores of Mahavishnu? And Guru Maharaj says, you cannot understand this. And this question doesn't help very much. And it's not, I don't think it's very pleasing to his guru. But imagine if the disciple asks, my dear Guru Maharaj, how can I be more humble? How can I improve my character? You understand how much more Guru would be pleased with this excellent question. How can I improve my character? How can I be more supportive of devotees? So one answer to the question, what are the excellent questions, is excellent questions are those questions that help your success. Why would we ask ourselves any other questions? Because we want to be successful. So all day long you can ask yourself questions that will help your success. Therefore, it's important to write down such questions and read them throughout the day. So this is very practical. What are the questions you want to ask yourself whole day? Some people ask themselves every day, why others are not perfect? They criticize. But one who is intelligent asks which question?
What have I done for Krishna? Was it useful for Krishna?
So you are now taking responsibility yourself. Yes?
I would say, how can I be tolerant to accept that people who are not perfect?
Okay, this is not so bad. Yes.
And also how I can improve myself.
Yes. Instead of asking why others are not perfect, we can ask, how can I improve myself? How can I get better? Because life is short. You can spend whole life criticizing others and asking yourself this question about something you cannot change. Only they can change themselves. You can try to influence them by your example, by your words, by your support, but they have to change themselves. You cannot do the change for themselves. They have to change themselves. But you can always change yourself. So, and miraculously, if you work on yourself, people will approach you and say, please help me, I also want to change. So that's a beautiful situation. You don't have to struggle and, try to convince people, why don't you change? I want to change you. Couples sometimes think that they will change each other, but it never works. So, if you become so determined to change yourself and people see a change in you, then they will say, oh, I want to do this. It's so good. This is so good. I want to do this myself. How have you done it? And you approach someone who has done it, who has done what you want to do. You approach a devotee who is doing things that you want to do and ask them, how have you done it? How have you become an amazing pujari? How have you become an amazing preacher? Please instruct me. Like Arjuna is asking us here, please instruct me. So once you choose your dharma, you make a plan, and part of the plan is to approach people who are already doing what you want to do for Krishna. This is very practical. So we have thinking consisted of questions and answers, and then what happens is that you come to a conclusion about something. You ask yourself, shall I do this or not? You come to a conclusion, okay, it will be good to do it. I think it's a good idea. Then after the conclusion comes the decision, okay, now I have been thinking, but now I make a decision, I'm going to do it. And what happens after this is what? After the decision, what happens?
Yeah.
Huh?
Acting.
Action, exactly. Yeah. So you take action, and what is the next? What happens after action? Yes.
Yeah, you get the result.
Yes. Yeah, also a reaction. But you get a result. So can you see the connection between the questions and the results? Better questions bring better results. Imagine you see at this nice street outside a piece of paper. So what is the first question you ask yourself if you see not a piece of paper but a pile of rubbish? What do you think you would ask yourself if you would see this downstairs?
Take it and put it into the garbage.
You are too good. Please wait. No, we speak about the question.
So you understand this?
Yeah?
Like, why it's lying again there?
Huh?
Why is it lying again there?
Okay, and what would be the likely answer? What is behind the question why it's lying there? Let's dig deeper.
Yeah, it's like finding a fault by others.
Yes. So what is the mayor of Cologne? What is he doing? I mean, what is this cleaning service doing? He is not getting on their case. So we are criticizing, expecting. Yes, more. Any other question that you would ask when you see a pile of rubbish?
Shall I throw it or shall I go to my apartment? Because I'm just
Yes. Yeah. Shall I do something about it? Now my dilemma is because I don't always have water or wet tissues with me. My dilemma is if I make my hands dirty, I mean I cannot chant. I have to go and find the pipe and wash. So you can, yes, you have.
Yeah, I would ask myself, how can people be so uncaring?
Yes. Yeah. How can people be so neglectful, uncaring that they are leaving this garbage, and who is responsible for this? So this is one thing, and then another question you can ask yourself, which has along with your idea, is how can I make Cologne clean? How can I take responsibility for making Cologne clean? You ask yourself this beautiful question of a servant. Is what can I do about this? Because this is God's creation. Everywhere is God's creation. I want to keep His creation clean. Even if others don't clean, I want to clean it. So you understand how your questions reflect your consciousness, your level of consciousness, and your attitude of a servant or not a servant. Why we get disappointed? Because we have expectations. We expect of others to do something or to be perfect. But my question is, what do you expect of yourself? I just posted recently one post on Facebook that some people are very expert in challenging others. But actually it would be much more beneficial for them if they challenge themselves first. If you challenge yourself 108 times, I give you permission to start challenging others. But first challenge yourself 108 times. And see how it makes difference in your own character, in your own life. So, better questions bring better answers. Questions reflect our state of consciousness, our level of consciousness. Questions open new doors of possibilities. I I don't know why, but I really like to open the door for people. In Radhadesh, many people come to the guest house and I like to open the door. And some of them don't even look at me, they just pass. But I'm wondering why they don't ask themselves how this door has gotten open. It's not because of me, it's not because that I had to be recognized for this, but it's just like you're curious, how is this happening? I mean, it's just automatically the door is open. Or maybe they are thinking about something. Jai, Hare Krishna. They are called Shishigonitai or?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, Shishigonitai Ki Jai.
Yeah.
Actually, his name is Vijay Gorana Goyanitai.
Really?
Yes.
It's the same as in Budapest. Oh, these are beautiful names. Okay, so can you remind me what I was saying?
Sorry.
Okay, questions reflect your level of consciousness.
You open the door. And
Open the door, yes. Questions open new doors. Questions are the key to creativity. If you ask yourself excellent questions, you can become more creative. So questions that start, how can I do this or that, you can get so many answers. Especially, I recommend you write them down. You write down the answers. How can I do this? How can I do that? Who else can help me? So questions expand options also. For example, you may think, oh, Krishna consciousness is only here. But if you ask yourself, is there any other center in Germany or in the world? Then you can explore. Or anything that you do, you may expand your options by asking yourself, what else, who else, how else, where else? This word else is so powerful in combination with other words. It creates questions that expand your options. Try to give you an example. Recently, I was trying to get an audiobook to learn how to better help devotees, how to listen to them, how to respect them. Wonderful book by one pious person. But the problem was that this book is only on iTunes. I don't have Apple account. I don't have iPhone. And if I want this book, I have to put my credit card number just to register, not to buy anything, just to get an account on Apple, and I don't have a credit card. And I asked my friend, can you send me a gift, even if I don't have a credit card? He wanted to buy me this audiobook, and to send it to me as a gift, as sometimes devotees do, send me. And he said, no, you need to be registered in order to receive it, and that means I have to enter my credit card number. So that means I cannot get, at the moment, I don't want to get the credit card number just because of one book which costs, audiobook which costs $20 or $25. So I asked myself, how else can I get this book? And what would you recommend?
You can write a letter to this company, whoever sell it, and ask them.
The company, Apple.
Apple or...
They don't answer very much. I mean, you can maybe get to online chat, or it's not easy to get through to them. Well, I didn't think of that one. Okay? We can be creative people, yes?
You can visit your friend who can receive this book, and then you can read together.
Yeah, but I'm traveling by the time. I'm moving. But you're close to one solution. I will tell you which one, yes?
Somebody can download it for you and send it to you. You can pay him money by cash also.
No, they cannot do it. Oh, you mean?
Like they
on
can
my
download-
computer.
On their computer, they can download it as PDF.
But I need their password for their account because I don't have an account, and I can only access it with my account when I sign in.
They can send you on Gmail or something like this.
No, I have to register. Apple made it a little complicated. You have to put a credit card number. But what you said, what did you say?
I said like your friend can download it or receive it, and then you go to your friend and you can read together.
Yeah, he said he can download it on my computer and let me use his password and the username. That's one option that I was thinking about, but there is a better option. This is interesting. Can you repeat what you said?
So you can write
Right to Apple.
Apple or whoever is.
Sometimes they are flexible, sometimes not. Amazon is good. I don't have so much experience with Apple, but Amazon customer service is really good because Audible.com, which is an audio section of Amazon, you can get them on chat and immediately they want to help you. They are really good. Usually it's Indian, not devotees, Indian customer service people who are also very helpful. Yes?
Maybe someone else can record the whole audiobook and just send the file.
What? Read?
Maybe someone else can record the whole audiobook.
I was thinking about doing this myself because I wanted to read it, but it's a huge job. It's like 7 hours of audio.
You can just put the phone there and then record or something.
Yeah, but people come and open the door and, spoiler, or in the night something bumps. Or I can't find 7 peaceful hours in my life to record it. Just over the speaker, yeah?
There's also a method to use software for this, so just playing on your PC and then the software records it. So
Oh, really?
You cannot be interrupted, yeah.
You please teach me because next time I want to hack something.
Not that far, but you can record it. with the
Please,
software.
can you help me get that software?
I can look at it, yeah.
What is your name?
Seven.
Okay. So please, I am here 2 weeks, so please help me with this
Okay.
because for the next time. But believe me, there is something else. Anything else? Now, I will finish soon, but why I'm keeping this example for the end, because it summarizes the whole topic about asking, and we go actually back to the Bible, which says what about asking?
Who ask will receive answer.
Yes, not only answer. If you ask, you can get, if you don't ask, there is 0% chance. But if you ask, at least there is 50% you will get anything. At least 50%. So, because I was in touch with the secretary of the author of the book, and she already sent me very generously some recordings of her interviews which are not downloadable on her website. She said, I send you audio, don't worry. I send you MP3. She sent me. So, you didn't know this. So maybe if you knew this, you would get this idea. So I was thinking, I'm going to ask her secretary if she has these files, these audio files. And she said, we have. WAV, W-A-V, WAV file. It's larger than MP3, but it's good quality. So she sent me 12 files, the whole book. And I said, okay, please, can you tell me how can I pay? And she said, it's free for you. So now, not only I can listen to it on my devices, but I can share with devotees, and there is devotees who are waiting for this, that I get it, and that, they really also wanted to listen. Sometimes they don't have time to read, but they can listen while they do something, or cooking, or whatever. And I was so happy. And now I feel so indebted to this woman because 2 times she did for me wonderful things. And I'm asking her, what can I do for you? But she doesn't reply to this. She's from England. And I had the book, but I didn't have audio of the book. And this the author is reading the book, and she's such an amazing reader. You don't have actually an impression that she is reading. She is reading as if she is talking. So it's very, very beautiful, and it's very pleasant to hear. But the content, I will tell you if we have some seminars, and I will tell you about the content. I already told Prabhu in the car something about it. So to summarize our whole topic about asking, there is questions of Arjuna inside. In the Shastra you will find so many questions, amazing questions. You can learn questions. I have actually the whole folder which I collected professional books about questions, how to ask questions for your success. And I will finish, I'm preparing my own book called Questions for Your Success, which will be mainly for devotees. So it will be available soon, probably in 1 month or maybe a little bit more. It will be ebook, at least for now. It's based on my seminars that I have done over the years and whatever I have collected, different types of questions that help success. So there is so many questions that we can ask ourselves that can help us think better, more creatively, be inspired. And there is many people that ask different kind of questions that are amazing, that are helpful. There is one company that teaches appreciative inquiry. These are questions that always appreciate something about others, or positive questions. So there is so much in this area that can be learned from the scriptures, but also from professional resources. And for us, I think it's very beneficial to learn, to ask ourselves and others better questions. So do you have any questions about questions?
Do we even have questions if we are in the spiritual world?
I don't remember if I was ever there, then I don't remember about if I was asking questions. But I'm sure there is. There is, because it's part of life. Questions are part of life. Yeah.
Sometimes I have questions like about what is right, what is wrong. Even though I know I know what is right thing to do, but still I don't want to do it, or I don't have the strength to do it. How can I get the strength to follow the right thing when I'm having a doubt?
So you know what is the right thing to do, and you don't have strength to do it. You can ask yourself, what will be the benefit of doing the right thing, and what will be the harm of doing the wrong thing?
This I know, but still, yeah.
You don't know. Try it next time and write it down. Then you can consider. Because what is the reason for poor decisions? The reason is shallow thinking. And if you ask yourself excellent questions or deep questions, you will not think in a shallow way. And that's why writing things down is powerful. When you write it down and see it, it screams at you, I'm bad, I'm good. So if you want to prevent poor decisions, try to get free from shallow thinking. Because shallow thinking is one of the main reasons of poor decisions. And poor decisions means decisions that will not benefit you. That will not benefit you.
I mean, even if I know that I have to do this and it's beneficial,
Uh-huh.
out of laziness.
Yes, laziness. But laziness is only temporary pleasure. If you want a better or higher pleasure, then mode of goodness is better than mode of ignorance. Now the question is how much you are convinced about this. It's true. So, yes?
When we have a question in our mind and we have nobody to ask at this moment, should we write down the question?
Yes.
Or maybe we may forget it. Maybe.
Oh yes. Always write down the question and deal with it later. You can also do a research about this in the database, in the Vanipedia, and you can find people who are always ready to answer your questions within 1 day maximum, and I'm one of them. You can always write me a question. I might ask you first, what do you think about this already? What is your potential answers? But I will do my best to answer also. Okay. Any other question about the power of questions? Yes?
How to really find questions that matter to me, like how to go deep inside my mind, I don't know, my consciousness to get to know.
But I think by reading different questions, some of them will stick out, and you will see, oh, this question is good, let me save it. It's good for me. I can share with you, I mean, you can ask more questions, but I want to share a couple of questions, like that I really liked when I read them in some book or somewhere. First, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, the most important question is, and you may say, okay, what would you say? What is the most important question? You can see, anyway, just guess.
How to get Krishna Prema?
No? I knew it. More? What is the most important question?
How to serve more, better.
That's one, that's great. I mean, this is also great, but it's not the right answer.
You want to build up more temple or to distribute Krishna consciousness and some huger branch of the world. So if it's self-reconciliation or self-responsible, to have that building up for each one at one level.
What is the most important question?
To have that brought to someone as how to have the Krishna consciousness
Okay.
used for oneself and to have over that.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yes?
How to explain the association with devotees.
Okay, good, great. Yes?
Why did I get a human form of life?
Why?
Why did I get a human form of life?
Oh, okay, good. This is also very nice. You have?
How to become happy?
Yes, great questions. I mean, you are creating excellent questions that you can use in your life. But this is not what Prabhupada said. Sorry. He said something really, really down to earth. He said, the most important question is, what is most important? I will find you the reference. It's maybe in a conversation or in a letter or in a lecture. It's not in the books. And so this is one question that really impressed me. Another question: what would you like to have in your life? Results or excuses?
Results.
And what we are good at? We are good at excuses. So if you want results, you have to get very good at setting goals and working on goals and achieving results. There is two questions that eliminate all excuses, and I highly recommend them to you. First question, if not you, who? Second question, if not now, when? You may say later, but no. When is the time to be successful? It's now, or to start your success journey. And if not you, who? If I ask some of you, okay, would you like to give class tomorrow?
Yes.
So if somebody says no, then I say, if not you, who? And then you say, oh, it's him. Yeah. So why don't you consider yourself to be called by God to execute His mission? Why not? What are your excuses? Oh, I didn't finish Bhakti Shastri.
I'm not qualified.
I'm not qualified. This is one of the top excuses in ISKCON and sometimes in the world too. I'm not qualified. So how do you qualify? By doing it. You don't qualify it by avoiding it. But how do you develop confidence? By doing something, by practicing. If not you, who? If not now, when? And if you help anybody, you always have to ask these two questions: what do you want, and what you are going to do about it. Basically, all questions boil down to these two questions: what do you want, and what are you going to do about it? And a soft way to threaten people or rebuke them, or it's not rebuke, I mean I don't rebuke people, I don't threaten people, but a soft way to show people the reality of their attitude and of their action is to tell them, if you continue doing what you're doing, you will continue getting what you're getting. You choose. It's related to these two questions: if not you, who? If not now, when? Yeah.
I tell to some different people this similar thing. I say, if they are not satisfied with somebody, I tell them, so you was doing something which brought you to this position. So try to do something else. Maybe you will become different,
Yes. Yeah.
different fruits. So
Somebody said the definition of madness is to continue doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Yes.
And it's like in the Bible said, you earn what you seek, right? You earn
What you seek.
what you seek. Seed.
What do you sow?
What you sow. Oh, as you sow, so shall you reap.
Yeah.
Yes, this is what I'm teaching.
Yeah.
This is like, I'm basically teaching the Bible. Because, Gita is also very high. So we want to learn the basics of goodness, the basics of the laws of nature. And this is one of the laws of nature, the action and reaction. I mean, it's also in our scriptures. As you sow, so shall you reap. And all these things I told you are variations of this. And regarding asking, I want to say again, the Bible says, ask and you shall receive. So, if you want something and you're shy to ask, how can you get it? If you want initiation, maybe you think, if I ask my Guru Maharaj, he will say no. But how do you know? Have you asked him? No, but some devotees told me, he's very strict. And then you ask him and he say, oh, why not? So, or anything else that you want. I mean, you ask temple president, can I go to India maybe? I have a salary. You laugh to each other now. And you don't know if he will say no, you never know. And I didn't know if this lady will say, we have it, but we cannot send it to you because you will send it to the whole universe, this audio. But she was very generous. These are amazing people. I mean, somehow Krishna sends me to some good people. These people also let me go to £1,000 or $1,000 more, $1,200 seminar for free, because I told them I'm not a businessman. I will just help people with the knowledge you give me, and they let me go 3-day seminar, £1,000. The same company, just different people in England. So, if you don't know what to do, you can ask me what to do, and I will tell you, ask a lot of people to help you. Like Arjuna is asking Krishna for help. Because this is the first success principle in the Bhagavad Gita, is ask for help. And he is doing it. He's doing it. He's such a powerful person, but he still understands, at this point, I need help. Don't be shy to ask for help. And don't ask only one person. Try to ask more people, but very important is what you do after you ask. You try to follow this advice. Don't just ask and collect a lot of answers and then do nothing, because this will not bring the results. At least follow something and you will get some results. Okay, I want to stop here. Thank you very much, and see you on Wednesday evening. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I will be also giving Bhagavatam classes on Dhruva Maharaj, which will also be related to practical things like this. Hare Krishna.